go to 64 here. I started playing the MMO Black Desert a short time ago, and while I do enjoy the game a lot, it has been kind of a frustrating experience that a lot of the game systems are rather poorly explained by the game itself, and also the sometimes bad translations doesn't make it any better. So I wanted to try and make a guide that explains the conversation minigame, because this is one of the game elements that it took me a long time to really understand. So to start with, let's have a look at what we can gain by having conversations with NPCs. So we'll talk to this NPC.
Not an obligation.
And here in the lower left corner, we can see that if we can gain 200 amity with this NPC, then we will get the knowledge of Cobweb. And if we can get 1000 amity, then we will get the knowledge of Repairing. And it differs from NPC to NPC what you can achieve by having conversations. With a lot of shop NPCs, you will get additional items you can buy. And there are also a lot of quest NPCs which will give additional quests after you've reached a certain level of amity. In the list above, you can see what knowledge you have that this NPC would be interested in talking about. So you can see I have knowledge about 15 topics out of 16 possible. So this should give me a pretty good chance of having a successful conversation with this NPC. If you only have a small amount of knowledge, then you will find it difficult to have successful conversations. In that case, you should go and talk to other NPCs and do quests and so on to gain more knowledge that you can use in conversations. So now let's click the conversation button to initiate a conversation and then have a closer look at what this looks like. So here in the top left, we see some basic information about this NPC. So she has an interest level of 31 and a favor level of 16. And this determines the effectiveness of the topics that we have available to talk about. So the topics we can choose are here in the bottom right corner in a wheel. And if we hover over one, we can see what the stats of this particular topic is. And the most interesting stats are the ones that are under interaction effect. So here we can see that it has a sparking interest of 30, and this should be compared to the interest level of the NPC, which is here 31. So if the knowledge topic is above or equal to the interest level of the NPC, then the sparking interest will be 100%. So here we are at 97 because we are just below. Interest seems to be a bad translation, because actually interest is the amount of favor that we gain if we have a successful conversation about this topic. So that means if we manage to spark interest, then we will get this amount of favor. And it will be random, a random number between 17 and 24. And this number is basically the favor, which is 33 to 40, minus the favor level of the NPC. So 33 minus 16 is 17. At the top of the screen, we see the requirement for this particular conversation, and this will change every time we have a conversation. So in this case, in order to have an overall successful conversation, we have to fail to spark the interest of the NPC at least one time. and we'll want this to be only one time because failing to spark the interest will not gain us very much amity. A conversation goes through a number of steps, as you can see here, and for each step we have the chance to gain some favor, and the objective is to gain as much accumulated favor as possible. So there are two stats which will increase while we are having the conversation, and these are maximum favor and accumulated favor. Let's say this was our first topic. If we succeeded in sparking interest with this topic, then we would get somewhere between 9 and 14 favor. So let's say we got 9. That would mean that maximum favor level would now become 9, and also accumulated favor would become 9. Then in the next step, let's say we successfully sparked interest again, and this time we gained 7 favor. Then maximum favor would increase to 9 plus 7, so that would be 16. And accumulated favor would actually increase as the sum of this maximum favor level plus the previous maximum favor level. So it would be 9 plus 16. So accumulated favor would then be 25. Then let's say on the third step, we failed to spark interest. In this case, maximum favor would then go down to 0. And this means that accumulated favor would not increase, so this would stay at 25. Then on the fourth step, let's say we gain 10 favor. This would then bring maximum favor up to 10, and it would bring accumulated favor up to 25 plus 10, so it would now be at 35. So generally it's important to not fail to spark interest in the middle of a conversation, because then you will go down to 0 on maximum favor and you won't gain any accumulated favor that round. So now let's try having an actual conversation. So because our overall conversation goal here is to fail to spark the interest one time, then we should start with picking a topic that has a low chance to spark interest. So let's try to find one. So this one has 13%, so that seems like a good candidate. And that does appear to be the lowest that we have available. So this should hopefully achieve our overall conversation goal. So now for the rest of the conversation, we want to gain as much accumulated favor as possible. So we want to pick topics that have a high chance of sparking interest and also give a lot of favor. So for instance, this one is 100% and gives us 16 to 24. So that's pretty good. Let's pick that. This one is 97%, so it will likely spark interest as well and gives a good amount of favor. So this one has 100% chance of sparking interest, but it will give 0 favor. So you may wonder, is it ever worth picking this? And it can actually be if you can't find anything better, because even though it will add 0 to maximum favor, if you already have maximum favor at a certain level, then it will still add something to accumulated favor as long as you succeed here. But this topic seems better, and this as well. And this one is quite excellent. So now we've picked a number of topics that should give us a good deal of accumulated favor, and one that should ensure us one failure, hopefully. So now we press conversation, and the conversation will start, and we'll see these numbers increasing. So as anticipated, the first one failed, and this means we achieved a successful conversation. And this means that we can actually gain some amity from this conversation. All the other topics succeeded, and we ended up with an accumulated favor of 322. And this gives us a gain of 33 amity. So this is about 10% of the accumulated favor. Now we can choose to continue the conversation, and this is kind of a gamble, because if we fail to achieve the goal in the next step of the conversation, then we will go down to 0 amity, and this conversation will be an overall favor. So we are gambling the 33 amity we already gained. The advantage of continuing is that the next step we will get an even higher percentage of the accumulated favor as amity, and also there's no energy used when we continue. Each conversation costs a certain amount of energy, but continuing does not cost extra energy. So here I will take the chance and continue. So this time the goal is to spark the interest 2 times in a row. So this means this time we should only pick topics that have a high chance of sparking interest. And this actually seems like the very best topic we have available, so we should put that first. Since our accumulated favor rises every time we take a conversation step, we normally want to put the ones with highest favor gain first, so that, because they will add up in all the following conversation rounds as well. So we'll put this topic first, and this is also really good. They are actually equally good. And this is just as good. And this is almost as good. And this is also great. And let's pick this one. So this should give us actually a really high accumulated favor gain. So we were very successful here, and we got the 2 cases of sparking interest that we wanted, and we got a very high gain of accumulated favor. And we are now at a total of 149 amity. So this is pretty good, so I will cash in here. But as you may remember, we needed 200 to get this piece of knowledge. So I'll have another conversation. And this time we need to spark the interest 4 times, but that should be easy enough, because we still have these excellent topics that we now know we can use. And this gave us a gain of 86, which is enough to get the knowledge that I want. So I'll cash in here. And now if I press the back button, then the new piece of knowledge appears here, and I can gain this knowledge.
I consider my weapons family. This one is my son. Oh.
And now you can see that under the topic of insects in Serendia, I have now gained the knowledge of cobweb. The last thing to look at is combo effects. So for instance, this topic has a combo effect that says after 2 turns, favor will be reduced by 8 for 2 turns. So what this actually means is that 2 turns after we have had this topic, the favor level of the NPC will be reduced by 8. So this is a beneficial effect for us because it means we will gain more favor for successfully sparking interest in those 2 turns. And another combo effect on this guy, after 2 turns, interest level will be reduced by 3 for 1 turn. So again, this is a positive effect for us because it means that the NPC's interest level will go down, which makes it easier for us to spark interest in the NPC. So for instance, if we set up a conversation with this guy in front, then we can see that after 2 turns, it says +8 under favor. So this is the combo effect that means that we gain +8 favor in these 2 turns. And then here we're back to normal again. So combo effects can be worth taking into consideration if you want to perfect your conversations, but they are certainly not the most important part to learn. So finally, just to reiterate, in order to have good conversations, you want to make sure to set it up so that you achieve the overall knowledge goal of the conversation. And then you want to pick your topics so that you gain the most favor as early as possible. So go for high interest numbers under interaction effects. Put the ones with the highest interest first, but also make sure that they have a high chance of sparking interest. 100% of course being the most desirable. So I hope this was helpful. So now you can go and have some good conversations with the NPCs in Black Desert Online. Thank you for watching.